Hey everybody, welcome back to my modern homestead. Happy New Year. My last video was actually New Year's Eve. Today is actually New Year's Day. Now, I live in the South, and here in the South, we do New Year's Day right when it comes to the cooking. But, y'all, we're going to try to cut down some of the fat and the calories for our New Year's Day meal this year. So I'm making a soup. Now, I've seen little recipes bouncing around on the internet. I looked at one this morning or last night, one or the other, and it's not quite what I'm doing, but almost. Let me show you what I'm doing because I'm trying to keep this in the parameters of Weight Watchers. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. Seriously, if you want a low point meal for Weight Watchers, this would be a great one. But if you just want a lower fat meal for your Southern, oh yes, honey, we are doing Southern today, New Year's Day meal, let me show you what we're doing. Now, if you were with me yesterday when I was cooking and trying out my new steamer that I got for Christmas, you saw me use the Lawry's garlic and herb marinade. Y'all, that meal was delicious. Hold on, let me put this in the sink. But today, everybody's home. So we're going to take this, I think it's a tenderloin that's been chopped up, but I'm not sure. So I cannot give you the exact points for Weight Watchers. But regardless of what cut of meat it is a lower point meat. And in fact, the only fat that's going to be added into this, and you can leave this out, will be the bacon. Now this makes a big pot of soup, and I'm only using 4 or 5 slices of bacon, so it's not like you're even going to be eating a whole slice in one serving. But before we get started, I need to marinate this meat just like we did with the chicken yesterday. And while I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and tell you what we're adding. We'll be putting in some turnip greens, some black-eyed peas. My mind went blank. This pork, those are your main staples for your Southern meal now. But you've got to have this pork, and you've got to have them black-eyed peas, and you've got to have them greens for your good luck and your money for the new year. Let's stir this up real quick. And then for the base of the soup, I'm going to be using a chicken stock. I'll just make my own with the chicken broth base seasoning that I always like to use. But we're going to let this cook. We're not going to cook this in here. Oh my stars. We're going to marinate this for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, just until we're ready to start the soup. And I was going to tell you too, on the black-eyed peas, you can use dried black-eyed peas if you let them soak overnight. And if you're going to cook this long enough, you could probably just use them dry right into the soup because they're not a hard pea to cook. But I'm going to use frozen black-eyed peas because those have already been blanched. They're just frozen. They're not dry. They'll be much easier to cook. So I'm going to pop this into the oven, about 375 degrees, 10-15 minutes until it's nice and crispy. And that'll be ready for us when this gets done. Oh, and y'all, we've got these carrots. Now, they're about to go out of date and not be any good. And we're not going to waste them, honey. We're going to put these in the soup, too. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. All right, y'all, you ready to get the soup started? Look, I am telling y'all, we're not going to be prissy with this soup. We're going to do it just like I would do it for my family any other night of the week. There's no chefs around here. I'm showing you how Mama does it. All right, so we start with some water. We're going to put in about half of a Vidalia onion, and this is a small one. You can get great big old onions, but we don't want one of those, just a small one. And I have a 16-ounce bag of black-eyed peas. We'll get this open, and we'll pour those in. There we go. Oh, you know what I didn't bring over here? Let me get the turnip greens. Now this is, I cheated. I went and got the already chopped turnip greens. And we're going to put these in here. It's a 16-ounce bag. Now it's going to look super full, but let me tell you, if you're not familiar, these greens are going to cook down. But I don't think I'm going to add all of them just yet because I don't want turnip green soup. I just want them in there. Okay, and we're going to add a few carrots. Now these are some I found on clearance. There was nothing wrong with them. You got carrots in your refrigerator that you're worried about going bad, this is a great way to use them up. You know, we're doing this for New Year's Day because these are foods we would traditionally eat on a New Year's Day, but this soup is good anytime. Okay, now I'm going to add in some broth-based chicken flavor. So let me grab a spoon. Okay. Now we're going to be adding a whole gallon of water. So I'm going to start with just a little of this, and we can add more later if we need it. Okay, so about 3 tablespoons is what we're starting with. Let's add in some more, water. Try to keep it in your pan. It works a whole lot better. Okay, now here's the bacon I cooked up. What I'm going to do is just crumble it into here. Whoops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. All right, all that is crumbled in there. Now I'm going to take the pork that we have had marinating, going to put it in there. Now these pieces at the bottom, I'll just kind of wipe off the excess marinade that's on them. Now if it matters to you, you can brown this. You can chop it up even smaller. However you would like to do it. So just add all of that in there. And I didn't tell you, it was about 2 pounds of pork in total. Alrighty, there's all the pork. Let's give it a stir. I'm actually going to use a regular spoon and not the ladle. And y'all, your work is done. All you have to do now is just let it cook. We'll bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer and just let it go till everything is done. Now, if your black-eyed peas look a little lost in here, you can add more. I'm going to let it cook down a little bit first before I add any more. And if I do add more, I'm just going to use canned black-eyed peas. I'm going to look to see if I have any on the shelf that I can. If not, I'll just use some that are store-bought. So that's it, y'all. So easy. Look, y'all, I have these left over from the recipe I did yesterday. They're not looking good. I don't want them to go to waste. It's not going to hurt anything. We're just going to put them into this soup right along with everything else. Don't you love that about soups? You can just put in whatever you want. But if you are a Southerner and you are making this for New Year's Eve, you just got to make sure you've got all the Southern essentials. That's right, baby. Your greens and your black-eyed peas and your pork. You got those, you are good for the year. Now, while this is cooking, I'm going to get started on cornbread. My husband requested that I make 2 pans of cornbread, so we're going to go ahead and do that because we have plenty of time while this soup cooks. Isn't it pretty already? Okay, I just put the second cornbread in the oven. My hand's still dirty. I'm going to turn this down to about 3, 4, and we're just going to let it cook until everything is done. I believe I'm going to add some more black-eyed peas like I was talking about, but the reason I'm going to add them at the end is because when they're canned, they're basically already cooked and you just need to warm them up. So I need to let this cook. I don't want to add them now because they will be teetotal mush. So we'll be back in just a few. Let me go wash my hands. Y'all, I just tasted this. It is perfection. It doesn't need anything. Oh, that is good. I can't wait to eat. Okay, we've got just a few more minutes left on the cornbread. I'm going to go ahead and put these into the soup. And by the time the cornbread gets done and we get everything ready to eat, the beans will be heated through. Ooh, I cannot wait to eat. All right, friends, let's do this. Careful with that lid. Okay, let's get the ladle. Give it a stir because all the black-eyed peas are on the bottom. There we go. We have our 2 cornbreads done. My husband's been working on his summer sausage. And look at our amazing New Year's Day soup. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful first day of the new year and you continue to have wonderful days all the year through. And until we meet again, may you be blessed. Love you guys. Bye-bye.